So, who do you think gets the best pay in dentistry?
Well, practice owners probably make the most, raking in anywhere from 100,000 to millions, especially if they own multiple practices.
That's impressive. But I've heard they might not see all that profit right away.
Exactly. A lot goes towards paying off business mortgages or reinvesting into their practices, so their monthly paychecks can sometimes be smaller than dentists working for them.
Interesting. Other than owners, who else are the high earners in this profession?
Successful private dentists in London can earn up to 500k, especially if they are skilled in services such as implants or cosmetic work.
Sounds like the earning potential can vary a lot. What do the working hours look like?
They can be very flexible. Many dentists don't work a full 5 days a week and can negotiate their hours with practices.
That's great. I heard some dentists even work in multiple practices at once.
Yes, it's not uncommon for dentists to have contracts with different practices, allowing them to choose their schedules.
Do you find yourself doing a lot of overtime?
I do, but that might be unique to me. I have high standards for my clinical notes, so I often spend extra time perfecting them.
Is there a reason clinical notes are so important in your field?
Absolutely. There's a saying, if it isn't written down, it didn't happen. Nowadays, they serve as legal documentation.
That makes sense. And what about self-marketing? How does that play into your earnings?
To succeed in the private market, you need to stand out. Many dentists use social media to showcase their work, which can lead to private jobs.
So, it's not just about skills, but also about getting noticed. What's the difference between working within the NHS and private apart from pay?
NHS appointments tend to be shorter and quicker than private ones. At the end of the day, you are working for a business looking for profit, so they can't afford for you to spend too much time on NHS patients. I often spend up to 40 minutes on a high-needs NHS checkup, but the industry norm now is just 10 to 15 minutes regardless of patient needs.
That sounds intense. What's it like for students in dental school?
Students don't face that time pressure because dental schools aren't businesses. But after qualifying, the learning curve can be steep.
Can that time pressure result in poor quality care on the NHS?
Legally, it's always the dentist that's responsible, not the practice. It's crucial to find ways to work efficiently without compromising quality.
Does this mean private work is better than NHS work?
The formal answer is no, but the honest answer is yes. For private patients, dentists have more time and can use better materials and tools, which leads to higher quality work.
How difficult is it to get into dental school?
It's quite challenging. You need high A-level grades and a good score on the UCAT to even apply.
What else do you need for your application?
You typically need 2 weeks of work experience shadowing a dentist and a strong personal statement to secure an interview.
How many applicants are there compared to available spots?
There are about 9,000 applicants for only 1,100 places each year, making it a highly competitive process.
In your line of work, what do people usually say is the main downside of the job?
Most mention the time pressure and the high-intensity stress of working hours. After a day of NHS work, I often feel too exhausted to do anything else at home.
That sounds tough. Does it affect your personal life?
Absolutely. It can be a challenge, especially with family obligations. That's why many dentists don't work 5 days a week.
What do you dislike the most about your job?
Besides the stress, it's disheartening when you put in a lot of hard work and the patient isn't appreciative. Some can have unrealistic expectations.
That must be frustrating. How do you handle those situations?
With experience, you learn to identify those demanding patients early on. But for newer dentists, it can be really challenging to say no.
Is it easy to find a job in your field?
Yes, it's quite easy for dentists to find work. If you're flexible and willing to move, there's a lot of negotiating power.
That sounds promising. What if someone wants to stay in a specific area?
Then it can be tougher. If you want to work in a big city, you might not have as much leverage in negotiations.
So, flexibility plays a big role in career opportunities.
Exactly. Dentists who move around for better pay often gain valuable experience and skills, which can lead to more opportunities later.
It's fascinating how the job market works in your field.
It really is. Dentists have a favorable job market, but being tied down can limit those prospects.
Is there more than one way to get in? Have you heard of any others who might have gotten in through a different way?
Yes, it's possible to complete a biomedical degree first before entering dental school on a graduate pathway, or to apply for a longer 6-year dental course with a gateway year.
That sounds interesting. Are those options guaranteed?
Not exactly. They can be competitive too, but the competition might be less than the standard pathway because they take longer.
What about international options? Are there any shortcuts?
There's a recent pathway where dentists from certain foreign EU dental schools can work in the UK without additional exams, which is quite a loophole.
That sounds like an appealing option, but are there risks involved?
Yes, it can be risky. The UK government can change policies regarding foreign dental graduates at any time, potentially while you're training abroad.
What do you think the future holds for the dental profession?
Many dentists believe NHS dentistry is failing, and we might be heading towards privatization, but the speed of that change is uncertain.
So, if someone just entered dental school, they shouldn't need to worry too much about this, right?
Yes, after the industry is privatized, it will still take some time for private monopolies to dominate and affect pay and job security.
What do people usually say is the main upside of being a dentist?
The freedom to negotiate working hours is a big plus, along with a decent starting salary of around £40,000 during foundation training.
What do you personally enjoy most about your job?
I love helping someone leave my surgery without their problem. The before and after transformations are really rewarding for me.
Is there anything else we should discuss today regarding the realities of working in dentistry?
Just one last thing. I mentioned earlier that dentists can become practice owners, which can really boost income and freedom.
That sounds promising. But is it still as feasible as it used to be?
Not really. It's much harder to do that nowadays compared to 10 years ago. When you find a good practice to buy, the big dental corporates can often outbid you in price. The asking price of dental practices are also much higher now.
I didn't realize that. What about financing options?
Interest rates from banks are also significantly higher these days, making it tough for new dentists to secure loans. And even if you do get the loan, the pressure of repayments is much higher.
So, without a financial safety net, it sounds pretty daunting.
Exactly. Unless you have family wealth or rich friends willing to invest in you, opening a practice in your 30s is nearly impossible. I've seen some owners fall into a money-making frenzy, sacrificing ethical standards just to keep the business afloat.
That sounds awful. What are the consequences of that approach?
High staff turnover is one major issue. People leave when they realize the working conditions are unsafe or unethical.
Is it not possible to get out of that situation as the owner?
Once you become an owner and start to see your wealth grow quickly, it can be hard to say goodbye to all that and go back to working for someone else. There is also a risk of going into unhealthy debt if you cannot sell the practice for more than what you bought it for.
So, if someone thinks they can jump straight into practice ownership after uni, they might need to reconsider?
Absolutely. It's a lot more complicated than it seems, and having financial backing can make all the difference.